Hey, so I was making kombucha and I thought I need to start being better about making videos of the things that we're already doing. So I am making kombucha. I don't know if you're familiar with kombucha. You start with a SCOBY and it is a probiotic and it is so good for you. And it gets that little, after you're done making it and you're drinking it, it has that little carbonated. For people like me, I am a soda addict. I love any kind of soda. And so it fulfills that want for that craving for that carbonation, because I don't like carbonated water. I've tried and I've tried. Plus this just builds up our system. And those of you who know me know that I was really sick last summer and I have ended up with a positive ANA. I showed the smear pattern and the cell, they call it the, there's different titers and there's different cell patterns, and I showed the titer and the cell pattern for scleroderma. Whether or not, we don't know. I'm going every 6 months to the rheumatologist now. But I got really sick after I had a horrible allergic reaction to macrobid. It was the first time I ever had that antibiotic, and so I've been on antibiotics a lot over the last year because I keep having reoccurring bladder infections. Welcome to menopause. So I don't know what came first, right? Like the chicken or the egg. I got sick. I've struggled with fibromyalgia and different autoimmune and inflammation stuff since 2008. So I really have a responsibility to try and take care of my body. I know I have inflammation in my body right now. So I am going to do all the things that I did way back in 2008, the lifestyle changes and the things that I did to try and heal my gut in the middle of January, in the middle of a food challenge where I'm not supposed to be grocery shopping. So anyway, let me make this as hard on myself as I possibly can. But the truth of the matter is, it's not that hard because I have everything I need within my home, within my pantry, within my own apothecary, within my own pharmacy that I have in my house. I have what I need to work on my body. And so I have been doing that since the summertime, been trying really hard to heal what is going on in my autoimmune system. But anyway, as I was making this kombucha, I thought, oh, you guys might want to know how I make this. And if you make it, that's fine. Put in the comments what you do differently, because we all do things differently. And I'm going to be honest, I am not up to date like on all the greatest and latest FDA approvals and what they're saying. I do know with kombucha, I don't believe you're supposed to do it if you're pregnant. And if you're nursing, you're not supposed to drink more than like this in a day, because as it's detoxing your system, it could push detox or push toxins into your breast milk. So I do know that. So I do know you want to be careful with all these things that I'm sharing if you're pregnant or nursing. Certain autoimmune diseases you have to be so careful with because there's something floating in my water. There's a little floaty here. I'm trying to, I heated, okay, there we go. It's real life around here, friends. So, just do your own research. Like, I'm not a doctor. I'm a mom of 12 who's been doing this stuff a long time, but what works for me is not going to work for you. I'll give some examples of that this week. There are mistakes that can be made if you are just dabbling and just trying all the things. Some things are not going to be good for you. So you really need to know kind of what you're struggling with, what you're dealing with before you start entering all of these things. So do your own research on kombucha. I personally love kombucha. It's something I really enjoy. I have not made it since I've been in here because I don't have the refrigerator space. But right now, I'm gonna make the refrigerator space. Plus it's cold enough in my basement that after I make it and seal it, I'm able to keep it in my basement and we'll have it drank before it gets bad. So what I did is I started by, I have my jar and I washed this, and then after you wash this with dish soap or whatever you wash your dishes with, you want to rinse it. You rinse it really good, get all the soap residue out, and then you take your jar and you run vinegar all over. You make sure vinegar touches all of that in there, because if there is any soap residue left in your jar, that's going to kill your kombucha from growing, and we don't want that. First step after cleaning this, you get your water and you get it up to a boil. I do 2 gallons at a time because there's so many of us, and because I drink it. I can drink a quart a day. I'm not sure if you're supposed to. I don't know what the recommendation is, but I love it. So I will get my water, and then I got this up to a boil, and then I turned it off. What you're typically going to do for a gallon is between 8 and 14 tea bags. This is a 1 gallon tea bag for making like a gallon of iced tea. So I'm just using that, and we're just going to put that in that water and let that brew for about 7 or 8 minutes. The water's just going to get like a light brown. So we're going to let that brew, and I'll come back to you in just a minute. So you can see how quickly that tea begins to permeate that water. This has only been about 2 minutes and it's already that dark. So it shows you how fast in just 7 minutes how much tea is going to be brewed into that water. All right, so this has gotten plenty dark. It took about 7 or 8 minutes. It's not been very long at all. Do you see how dark that is? This is still very, very, very hot. You never want to put your SCOBY in while it's this hot because it will kill your SCOBY. Your SCOBY extreme temperatures are not good for it. So we have to get the sugar mixed in this and get it cooled down and get it warm before we put our SCOBY in. So we're going to head over to the sink and continue working on this. All right, so we're over here at our jar that we have washed and sanitized with vinegar. We are going to take our tea bags and just take them out. And you're going to end up putting in between a cup and 2 cups of sugar with this. And I know that seems strange to add sugar to something that you're trying to make a probiotic out of, but the sugar completely metabolizes. By the time it gets to be kombucha in 16 to 21 days, the sugar won't be in there anymore. And so don't worry, it will break down. So I'm using about 1.5 cups. And I'm going to put that in there while it's really hot still, so that it completely dissolves. So that completely dissolves. So that sugar is completely dissolved in there already because that's so hot. Now listen, don't do this 2 gallons at a time. If you're just new to it, make 2 quarts and see how you like it. Everything with us is going to be mega and plus size just because of the size of our family. All my children drink kombucha. I can sneak it into my hubby every now and then. So now I'm just adding cold water to the kombucha, and I am going to fill up this 2 gallon jar. So if you're doing a 1 gallon jar, you're going to fill up that 1 gallon jar. And adding this cold water changes the temperature. So it goes from hot to warm, where the SCOBY is totally safe to go into this brewed tea. Right now it's sweet tea, which is my favorite kind of tea. True story. I was born in the South and I don't remember it, but boy do I love sweet tea. Sweet tea was something I had to cut out when I went into menopause because I could not handle the sugar. It really messes with my heart. So if you're in menopause and your heart is acting crazy and you've had it checked out by your cardiologist, don't just guess. Get a heart monitor. Wear a Holter heart monitor. Make sure, love yourself enough to make sure that your heart is safe. But once you rule out that your heart is safe, caffeine and sugar, the 2 things during menopause that are just terrible for your system. So sweet tea had to go. Even as a treat, I can't do it. If I do sweet tea, I will have a rough night with my heart. Not worth it. It's just not worth it. All right, so I've got that filled up enough. All right, so now I have the SCOBY. Have you seen a SCOBY? For one, the smell is so unique. It's somewhere between yeasty, vinegary, and doughy, but it's a SCOBY. I'm going to show you the SCOBY. Ooh, this is so gross. And this is the mother SCOBY, and I can make it can separate. Ooh, this one might be ready. Nope, it's not quite ready to separate. It's starting to separate, but you can see that this is the mother SCOBY, and it gets this mother on it just like you see in vinegar. I bought this SCOBY years ago through Amazon and had it delivered to my house. I have split it a couple of times. I think after this brewing, it's gonna be ready to split. So anyway, that is what a SCOBY looks like. And it's just a big round disc of probiotics. Now, what if I took a bite of it? Oh, I'd get horrible diarrhea. So I'm gonna take that starter, they call that starter, that's some of that SCOBY water. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna dump that in there with the SCOBY, and I'm gonna put the SCOBY in there. This is so exciting. And you can see, it's, you know what, in fact, I'm gonna pause you and I'm gonna move around so you can see how this is brewing. You can kind of see how that's on top there. All right, there is my SCOBY inside of my tea brew. You can do black tea or green tea. I have heard that people do honey. I don't do honey, I do white sugar. We are gonna cover this with a cloth and put a tight rubber band on it. And then in 16, I'll taste it at 16. You know what I do at 16 days? I take the cloth off, I put a straw in there, take a little drink or get a spoon and take some out. And if it doesn't taste quite right yet, I let it go a little bit longer. 21 to 22 days is quite long, and that is because I've been doing kombucha for a long time and I like that really, I like the strong flavor. So I would say if you're new to kombucha, 16 days is plenty. When I am done with this, I will pull the SCOBY out, and then I will put this in jars over fruit and put the lid on tight, and then I will have mango is my favorite. By time it's ready, yes, so by time it's ready, it'll be February, and I will be able to go to the grocery store because I do not have any frozen mango right now, and I'm being totally bougie. I love mango kombucha. The other ones are good. Strawberry is good. Apple cinnamon is really good, but I really love mango. So I'll go to the store beginning of February and get frozen mango and pour that over there, and then I'll just put it in my fridge. And once you let it sit for 24 hours over the fruit, you can start drinking it. And so this won't be ready till February. I need 16 days. Isn't that crazy? Are we already? Wow, that is insane that we are already that far into January. So you don't have to add more fruit. You can drink it just like this. I like it just like this, but I like to upscale it. So if it gets mold on the top, and it shouldn't, but if it gets mold, it's bad. Dump it. Do not. This is not, this SCOBY is not mold. So mold should not enter your body through a drink like this. This would make you very sick. So that mother is different than mold too. So that brown stringy mother, that's supposed to be there. Mold should not be in here. It's okay if this sinks down to the bottom. If at some point you see that it will sink and float, that's all right. Don't worry about that. So we'll check in back with this in 16 days and see how it looks and what we think. I am going to keep this in a warm, dark spot with a cheesecloth, or like I have these, you know, these towels like this. I'll cover it with that with a big rubber band. And I'm actually going to put it in my bread box and not put any bread in there and let that sit in there because it's warm and it's dark there. It does need to be somewhat warm. If the area is really cold, it won't work. If the area is too hot, it will mold. So it's got to be that balance. So anyway, I made kombucha today.